Hi there, this is Dr. Embody. I'm going to talk a little bit about Project 9, which involves the use of a class. We've created a class about cards. It has cards in it, it has decks in it, and there's a demo to show it off. I'm going to show you a couple of things here. So we've got a class, and so what can you do with that? So at this point, I've imported my cards, and that means I have, I'm in the directory where the cards class is. And to create a card, let's create a card. So we go to that file, get the card class. Notice it's capitalized, and you can see that when I do this, I get the help that, okay, the rank and suit have default values of 0. They take an integer, so here will be an ace, and suits are values 1 to 4, so that there is an ace. If I want to look at it, I can see it's an ace of clubs. If I want to print it, it prints as an ace of clubs. So let's create another ace. Let's do it in a different suit, and let's call that my card 2. And let's create another card. I'll call it card 3, and let's give it a value of, say, 4. So we can see that my C3 is that. So now I've got C1, C2, C3, okay. And now in playing cards, you can have values of cards, and you can have ranks of cards. So for example, let's actually create one more of these. Let's create well, we don't have any of this suit. Let's create a queen, if I'm remembering my numbers correctly. And that's the Queen of Hearts. And now let's take a look at some of the things that we can do. We can inquire about attributes of the cards. So if I take C3, for example, which is the 4 of clubs, well, I can say, what is its rank? Oh, it's a 4. Okay. What is its suit? Okay, its suit is 1, which is the clubs. What is its value? Oh, it has a value of 4. No big surprises there. How about the value of our C4? Remember, our C4 was a queen. So C4, if I look at its rank, that is, where is it in the cards? It's the 12th card in terms of where it is, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And it's also got a value of 10. So, the value of the face cards are all 10. Rank and value give you two different types of things, and when you total up, when you play a game like blackjack, and before you watch this video, you should go and figure out how blackjack works if you don't know, and get comfortable with the cards, particularly if you're not familiar with the Western card deck. So one of the things that you have to do in the game of blackjack is, take a hand and get its, you want its value to be up to, but not including 21, right? So you want to have your hand go up to 21. You start with 2 cards, and then you keep adding cards, and you're trying to guess, if I take another card, is that going to put me over 21 or not? So it all revolves around the value of the cards. So if I make a hand, I'll call it hand 1, and let's put in my my cards. Now, I'm making a collection, and so I use a list, and I know I want to be adding to it, so I use a list rather than a tuple. And what's in my hand? Well, it's 2 aces and a 4. And now in blackjack, aces can have a value of 1 or 11, and you decide based upon trying to maximize the points without going over 21. So if I have 2 aces and a 4, if those are both 11s, then it adds up to 26, which is over 21. But if one of them it has a value of 1 and one has a value of 11, then the value of that hand is 15, or if they both have 1s, it has a value of 6. So how do I handle that? Well, the first thing you can do is, when I have an ace and I get its value, by default its value is 1. And so that's what its value is. But in blackjack it might be 11, and so you have to play around with that. What I suggest that you do is that when you write this game at first, forget about the 11 part. Get the game to work where its value is, where aces values are 1. Get it to working, and then once you've got the game working, you can then work on figuring out, okay, so how do I handle this? Sometimes 1, sometimes 11. What I would do is I created a function called to calculate its value, and I got to remember what I called it. Calc val v1, calc val version 1, right? And let's see. I better check on that. Calc val version 1. What did I call it? Oh, I called it calculate hand. That's why this isn't. So calculate hand. And again, I use docstrings so I can see what's going on here, and it takes a hand, so let me pass it a hand, and it calculates it as a 6, and so that's each ace having a value of 1 and the 4. So I created a function that was the simplest one possible. I'm sure you can write that function, and so when you want to calculate the value of the hand, do it that way. And play the game just with aces having a value of 1. And once you have the game working that way, then you can go back and now fix this so that it will give you the maximum value without going over 22. And I called that one my calc value. So oops, and that is in that's in a different file, so I better fire this guy up. Boom, there we go. And so I can make a hand. So I have a hand. Right. Same one that I had before, except now I have the one that actually works correctly. So if both aces are 11 plus the 4, that's 25, that's too much. So one of the aces has to be changed to a 1, and our value is 15. And so, my value is 16, because we have 11 plus 1 plus 4. I couldn't do that in my head. So now, once if I've written the program with that first function, now I can replace it with the second one in terms of calculating the values. And so I strongly suggest that you take that approach. The original one, the simple one where all aces are 1, if you use list comprehension, that function is so simple it could be done in one line. Figuring out how to do this with the getting the maximum value is quite a bit harder. And let me point something out. When we play this game, we require you to always print is to print the value with the hand. So let me show you how that works. So here's the game. It dealt the cards, and it shows that I have 2 cards for the player. I have 2 cards for the dealer. One of them is hidden. All right. I sort of block that out. And notice that when I did the player's hand, I calculated its value. That was a pair of 7s, and so it has a value of 14. We don't know the dealer's value because we don't know this, and that's part of the game. Otherwise, we might know that they have won. So the challenge now is, do I add cards to my hand or not? And I can just, when we're at 14, I'd like to do that. It gave me it turned up to be a queen. Queen and 2 7s, that's 24. Busted means that I lost. Do I want to play again? And this time I have a 11, so I will go with that. I've picked up a 3, it's 14. Let's do it again. Now I'm up to 18, and I'm going to stand, see what the dealer does. The dealer, the rule for the dealer is that 17 or more, they have to stand, that is not draw a card. Otherwise, they draw a card. So their rules are fixed. And in this case, so there was 19, so the dealer won again. Let's see if we get an interesting one. So now this time I have a 19. The dealer's showing an ace. I'm going to stand on the 19 and see what the dealer comes up with. So they have an ace and a 9. I lost again. I'm not very good at this. Okay, so I've got 11. I think I'll take a card. I'm now 20. Looks pretty good. I think I'll stop there. Because notice what happens with the dealer here. So we get the the dealer had a 6 and some other card. We see later on that that's a 4. So 6 and 4 is 10. That's less than 17. So they have to take a card. So they did a hit. They got a 3. So they're at 13. Well, 13 is less than 17. So they have to take another hit. They pick up a 5. Now its value is 18. That's over 17. So they stand. They have an 18. I have a 20. I finally won. This is why you don't gamble, because the house always wins. So that's how the game plays. Notice that it's always printing the highest value. So for example, here with the when there was an ace and the 9, the dealer's hand will use that value of 11 to do the calculation, and that's a 20. So the maximum hand that you can make without going over 20 is the rule that the dealer uses. And when you look at the description, the same. So if you look at how here's the one where it talks about what the dealer does. There's the rules about how they're handed, and that in fact turns out to be the same value that is printed if you're getting the maximum hand without going over 21. So you can use the function both ways, and I suggest that you do so. So finish up this game. Do I want to play again? The answer is no, and it puts out a final score. The player won 1, the dealer won 3, and then we're done. So there's the game. Good luck.